Yeah, those cultures that you don't see, you don't notice, you don't know you are facing a culture shock, you don't understand how did you get over here. All that, we are going to address that today because there is a lot of those things, those culture shocks, those things that you don't know you're going through, but you are going through. And today we are going to touch some of that. Hello, everyone. My name is Elece. The owner of the Vision Production. I'm also a writer, speaker, poet. And on this channel, I talk about cultures, traditions, lifestyle, particularly about the US and Zimbabwe, because I lived in both places many years, so I know about these cultures. And today we are going to address something that many people don't really think about, or they don't know it can exist, or it's existing, or it's already there existing. They don't know that. So today we'll take some time to really address this point because it is a vital point. Why is it vital? On one of my videos, I talk about, I have heard it so many times, people, they leave, they are so excited, they're going back home. And mostly wasn't to Zimbabwe, but Africa, there's a lot of different similarities that we have that you are going to meet in most places when you go to Africa. In parts of Africa, they're going to be more or less the same. Could be some advantages, could be some disadvantages. You don't have to be in one particular place. And I'm going to talk, number one, about the honeymoon time. Honeymoon is not just about people who get married, people who are in love, but honeymoon could be just the excitement that you put into something. That can be a honeymoon period. For example, people, they feel, they when they are leaving America, they say, I am free, right? But what kind of freedom are you talking about? What do you mean by that? Because you could be free. We know that in America, there's a lot of hustle, bustling of work and, bills and, all kinds of things, right? And a person can feel this way, I am free. But you have to be able to really define what you mean by this freedom. What exactly are you talking about? Because if it is not defined, then it can be the same thing you might meet in that other place. So you have to be able to define it. What is it? What do you mean by I am free? Another thing will be, well, I can be in a place where I can blend. I can be like one. I can be exactly. But I'm sorry to tell you this, a lot of the times you are pretty distinctive. You might think you are a part, you might think you really blend, but you don't. You really don't. Your skin tone actually looks very different. Why I say this? Because I remember going to Zimbabwe one time, and it was after winter, and I was living in Wisconsin in winter. So you are covered a lot, and literally your skin changes. Okay. It really changes, this dark, and, you become lighter and lighter, lighter brown, like that. And I remember people looking at me. I'm talking about people who know me. I'm talking about people who have lived with me and say, Elece is changing to be like a white person. And your tone is not the same. You might think you blend. You might think I am exactly like the people there. No, you are not, because they can tell. You might not tell, but they can tell. And also, I think because of the expectations that you already have, you go there with the feel that I am expecting to be a part, and you go there and expecting that you are already a part, which you are. But the thing about it also, you have to realize that people there, they actually are wondering, why are you here? Why is that? Because they feel that you are better. They feel that your life is better. They feel that You have it so much better than what they have. So why are you here? And then when they start feeling that way, they comes also with sometimes some expectation. They feel, oh, since you are here, you come from where you are so much better, you come from where things are so much better. Well, maybe you can help me. Maybe you can do this and that for me. Maybe you shouldn't expect me to really do anything, right? You shouldn't expect me to do anything at all. You should expect you yourself maybe to do more than me. Meaning, for example, people can expect maybe to be given certain things, just expecting, you live in the area, maybe you can help me with this, maybe you can give me some money, maybe you can, not with the intention like they are using you or they are taking an advantage of you, or, but this is like, I always have to say to my family, this is like normal. This is not like they are misusing you, they are using you up, they are, not like that, the way how sometimes I hear from, the American way. No, it's not like that. Another thing I want to bring out is about culture experiences or shocks. They are not a 1 day thing or 1 year or 2 months or 3 months. No, cultures, culture experience, maybe I should use this word, culture experiences, they are all throughout your life. Why am I saying this? Because I have lived in this country for so many years, and today, I swear, until today, I still meet some culture shocks. How is that? Because I deal with different things, right? All the time you are dealing with different things, different situations. You are in different places. You are dealing with different people. All those things, they bring cultural experiences that you don't really expect. For example, sometimes now I experience culture shock with my own children because as a child growing up in Zimbabwe, there's certain things as a child maybe I did not do, I did not, indulge in or something like that, or certain way of talking or certain way of responding maybe to parents or whatever. So sometimes I sit back and thinking, wow, these are my children. Because you get that shock, like, okay, what exactly is going on here? Because some things, like in Africa, we are not told, for example, you are the child, you are the one to do this and that certain chores and responsibilities like washing dishes, cleaning up after eating and things like that. You're not told. A child is not told. I have one video that I talk about that actually. You can watch some of this to kind of like understand. So when I see, sometimes I have to say to my own, then I'm in another culture shock. After all these years, I'm now facing a whole different culture shock. So those are some of the things that you can again expect. For those who are moving and they'll be going to Africa, there are certain things that in America, it's almost 100% no. And actually, it's not just a no, it's also a law. Okay. But in other places, as you go there, first of all, there's no law that says nothing. And two, it's practiced just like normal. Okay. Some of the things on the bigger end can be polygamy. Polygamy today is still being practiced in Africa. There's one video I think I talk about polygamy and why people they practice polygamy. Some people have good reasons, some they don't. Okay? In that video, I think I explained that when I asked my father why, he told me a very specific reason. He said, because I need a boy. We were all girls in my mother's family, and my mother's, family, yeah. We were all girls. So my father, for the traditional understanding of wanting to inherit the name, not necessarily inheriting money, but in inheriting the name, because keeping the name is so vital. And let me tell you, it is vital to the point where one of the things that I hear a lot from the Black Americans in America is that we don't have our names. The name I am using is not mine. For example, I'm now called Elece McKnight. That name is not my husband's name in a sense, in so many ways, right? So when you talk about name, it's very, very important to internalize that and understand that. So when you get in places like that, it might look like just people are like maybe careless, people are ruthless, people are not considerate about, maybe their wives or whatever. But actually, it is a tradition sometimes that is kept for specific reasons, not all the time. And again, um, polygamy can be practiced in so many different ways and forms. It might not be where, like example, when my father was married, the wives were there, you know. But now it could be it's practiced out. They can't go and get married legally in the courts because the courts are from the Western world anyway. Those marriages from the courts are from the Western world. So when we adapted that, you know, people still keeps their traditional ways of doing things. So a person can be married with 2 wives, 3 wives, but the person they marry with at the court is only one. That can happen. And the wife over here, that some of them don't even think about the court marriage because to them it's almost like insignificant. I talk in my video about my own story where I talked about I got married 3 times. And what all that means is that I had to do the traditional things in order for me to be considered that I'm married. But when I came to America, they also have to do their own traditional ways, which is the court, in order for me to also be considered I'm married. So it's all these things that people just really have to understand, you know, and and kind of like go along with it, you know, and understand that this is what people they do. And if you are one of those who can say, no brainer, I cannot do this, please don't do. Because don't even get in touch with people like that, because don't think that they are going to change their ways. Not that quickly, not that easily, not because it's you. Usually these traditions are so strong that sometimes they will say, yes, yes, yeah, we will do it this way and all that. They don't do it. Another point I want to bring is about when you decide, maybe you decide I'm hearing a lot of people getting married to African people. You are not getting married to your husband or to your wife only. No. You are married to the family. And many people can say, oh, yeah, I think that's with everywhere, right? Yeah. But no, it's different. The reason I say it's different, here specific, sometimes they will say, oh, yeah, that's their family over there. Let them do what they are doing over there. That's their family. Who got married? He has a family now. Let them do their thing. But sometimes you find out in those cultures, it's not like that. Maybe the mother-in-law still literally like they are taking care of this your family, or like that in terms of rules and, what should be done and what shouldn't or whatever. And now that a lot of the young people, they are in the cities, this again can be so different. I always have to put that because there's so many changes when the young people, they are no longer involved too much of, like living in the countryside and dealing with the lifestyle in the countryside. So there can be a lot of some differences. But there are some things that still remain, unfortunate or fortunate sometimes, that they are still very solid, strong, they are still there. So to round out and just kind of wrap up the whole thing, I think before you move, before you think you want to move, before you contemplate the idea of moving, wherever you are going. I'm talking here about Africa, Zimbabwe. I'm talking about America, but I'm not limited to that. I think this now applies to anywhere you go. Have your intentions clear. Understand why are you leaving your country. Understand how long do you want to stay in this place. Understand, is this just a vacation that I'm taking or I am going to stay? And then in this way, you can be a little bit more ready for what you have to do. You can be a little bit more ready for taking part of all the changes that you are going to meet. And those changes, they could come from all kinds of things, lifestyle, what do you do on a daily basis? In America, it's getting up, people go to work, this and that and that and that. It might not be that way. When you get somewhere, a lot of the people, they get house girl to work in there. I love that because it's not just you get someone to work for you in the house. It's also that you are helping the people in that country, because a lot of the times people, they really need some income. So when you get someone to help you, sometimes people, they get lost. Like, so what am I going to do when I get up? Because there's this person who is running around, they bring you tea, coffee, whatever time you want, this and that, they clean up, they wash, they iron, they, they do everything. And of course, you compensate them. But then what are you going to do? So all those things have to be thought before. How about the food? I have heard people literally, they missed spices, they missed certain foods, they just miss food. In my thinking, I'm always thinking you can find a way to, compensate on that, right? For me, I make my traditional salsa here in America all the time. Whenever I feel like I want salsa, I make it and I have salsa. But I don't know how exactly people completely miss their type of food, because every country, I think you get chicken, you get beef, you can get pork if you want it. You can get all these things, and you get vegetables, and there might be different vegetables. And of course, the spices can be a big deal, because a lot of, when I was growing up, Zimbabwe really didn't use a lot of spices. Onion, tomato, those were like the main thing we put in our meals. And these other things were just, people might use a curry, from the Indians and stuff like that, but we don't use a lot of spices. So those are some of the things people can actually do. They can miss, and they feel like, I can't take it, I can't stay. And there are some other big things now that can really cause problem, like electricity. When you don't have electricity, maybe you work at home, maybe you're a remote worker, or you whatever, you want to communicate with your family all the time, and electricity always goes out. That distracts also the phones and this and that and all that. So those are some major things. But again, you have to be willingly, you have to understand your intentions, so that you can stand when these things are coming up upon you. You can be able to stand it. Missing family is one of those again. Sometimes it's younger family, people like me with younger grandchildren and things like that, younger, adults. There's certain things that you feel like you want to be around, you want to be close by, things like that. So you might want to think real good, especially when you go far away, a place that is a little bit difficult to just come back. You might want to think about that. And these are some of the things that they are a whole lot, a lot of things that we can talk about here. But these are just some of them that can make a person feel, I can't stay. I have just to go back. So have your intentions together. And I think that's one of the, on the external level, have those intentions together, understand maybe these things might happen. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And there are sometimes things that will come outside your realm, outside your understanding. That's okay. But at least be prepared. So today, this is all I have. And if you haven't subscribed, I think this is the time for you to take the time to subscribe, share the video with others that you think they might also want to hear about this. And also, if you have some idea or you want to share your story about your cultures, your culture shock, please contact me. I have an email that you can contact me with, and we can talk about what was your culture shock, wherever you are coming from, not just from Africa or from America, from, no, but anywhere in this world. What was your culture shock? I'm sure some of you who are watching this video, you also have your stories, many stories. So we would like to hear them. So you can contact me down below. There is links there, and one of the links is to contact me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now. See you next time.